recent video I talked a little bit about repairing some extension cords, and we have a couple more here that aren't working quite right, so let's take a look at them. So I was using these outside for the Christmas decorations, and I tested them all when I brought them in because I know a couple of them got beat up a little bit. And when I plugged this one in, oh, okay, well, first time I tried this it came up with an error. Now it doesn't, so I think what has happened is there's a little corrosion on the pins right there, and I think it wasn't making contact. This one said it had open ground on it, which apparently is resolved, so I'm going to clean that up a little bit, and then we'll just make sure that that one's okay. Now, what I normally do in my electrical tool bag, I keep an emery board here, and this one's coarse on one side, it's medium on the other, and if I have to clean something like this, I'll just work it. Obviously a piece of sandpaper will do just as well, but I'll just work it in here, try to get the corrosion off. So I had all these joints taped up outside, but it's possible that some moisture got in here and corroded this a little bit. So I'll just work it around here and get that corrosion off of there. Not much room to work in there, so you got to kind of take short little strokes. It's a little tedious, but it's better than buying a new extension cord that costs quite a bit of money. Yeah, there's a lot of crud on there, so I think that's what happened. I think when I tested that the first time, there was just too much crap on the ground pin, and it came up with a open ground error on it. But I think it was just crud. And you can also use some electrical contact cleaner on this. I don't think I have any laying around, but that's another option. You can spray that on there and work that in. But let's see. So I got most of the crap off of that, and I think I'll do the regular conductors too, because they seem to be a little dirty. So, and the emery boards, when my wife is done with them for her nails, I just take what's left. Sometimes they get too worn out for what she's doing, but for occasional use on something like this, it works fine. So, I'll just clean this up, clean it up the best I can there. A piece of sandpaper, obviously, as I said, would do just as fine. Or a small file. There's actually quite a bit of crud on here. If you have debris on the actual power conductors, could potentially, if you're putting a lot of current through it, could potentially heat up because of the resistance, and you don't want that. For what I was using it for, there wasn't much load on it, so it didn't matter, but it's good to get this cleaned up a little bit. Wouldn't have to be perfect, but just get the majority of the crud off of it. It's not pristine, but it's at least got it cleaned up a little bit. Let's plug that back in, just double check that. Okay. Alright, so that's coming up with the proper indication now. So appears that problem with this one was just dirt. So that was easy. Let's take a look at the second one. Okay, so this one, plug that in. The two lights on that side should be lit, only one of them is, and that is indicating an open neutral, which means this won't even work. The other one I just showed you said there was an open ground. It would work, but it wasn't safe, because if there was a short circuit within it someplace, like it got cut halfway, it wouldn't trip the circuit breaker, because it may not trip the circuit breaker because it was the ground was not functioning. So that would have been a problem, but as we saw, that was just dirt. But this has something wrong with it, so we're going to need to take the ends off this, I think. But before I do, I'm going to take the whole thing off the reel here and check to make sure there aren't any, the wires didn't get cut someplace. I just ran the entire wire through my fingers like this, just feeling for any breaks or damage, and I did not find any. So I'm guessing the problem is one of the ends. I had previously replaced the ends on these. The original ends that had come with it had gotten damaged. So it doesn't matter which end you start with, one or the other. Let me take this apart and let's take a look at it and see if we can see if anything came loose. Sometimes these are a little bit of a pain to get apart after you get them together. Stubborn. They were loose. I'll lose the screws, but they seem to be still gripping that. There we go. All right, let's see what this looks like. All right, the neutral is still on there on this end, so it must be the other end, either that or there's some damage on the wire somewhere that isn't obvious. These have loosened up quite a bit, which I don't like. Okay, so you can see in there, neutral was on there. So I'm not sure what's going on. Let's take the other, before we put this one back together, let's take the other end off and have a look at that. So let's see what we got here. After I put these together, I always tape them up just in case, because with the factory ends on it, this part is waterproof right here, but with the when you change it, it isn't. So I always put some tape on it to keep it from keeping any water from getting in there if I'm using them outdoors. Of course, that makes it hard to get it apart once you get, if you have to get it apart. Normally what these do is they have a couple screws in them, and there's two pieces and the outer sleeve comes off. So let's loosen this up. This is a 100-footer, so I don't remember what it was, but it was probably close to 30 bucks. And it's a light gauge, it's a 16 gauge, I think, but it is close to 30 bucks, so that would be, that's why I've changed the ends on. If you got a real short one, it may, the ends might be more, might cost more than the, just buy another cord, but something this long, it's worth fixing it if it's just the ends. I guess we're about to find out here. It's stuck, I don't like that. Let's see. The screw is not coming out. I don't know why it seems to be loose, but it doesn't seem to be. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get that apart. The screw here appears to have come loose, but it's not unscrewing. So I think there might be some damage here on this end. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get that out of there. Get the rest rest of the tape off and see here. Be careful with this. You don't want to cut yourself. Now in this one, there's a metal sleeve on the outside, and which is supposed to give it some more mechanical strength. So if you step on it or something, it doesn't get damaged as bad. But the inside part is plastic. Okay. The neutral is not loose, so that kind of means we may have a damaged wire. Let's check one more thing. Got this set up to check continuity. Just make sure I'm on the right spot. That should, yeah. So that is beeping. So if I put the two ends together, it should, if there's continuity, it should beep. It does not. Okay, so basically what we have determined is that we have breaking a wire someplace, and I did not see any obvious break, but somewhere it is broken, and there's no way to trace it without pulling all the jacket off, which makes the whole thing useless anyway. So because it's somewhere in the wire itself, this is not savable. So what we'll do is we'll take and save the ends. Use them on something else eventually, because eventually I'll need to repair some other one. So we'll take these off, and we'll have to check the wire. So we're down an extension cord, but that's okay. I can always get another extension cord. So we'll put this back together. Let's see, it goes that way. Usually there's only one way to put these together. And we'll just tighten those screws back up, and we'll put that in the box of spares, and when we need it, we have it. It is not impossible that there's something wrong with the ends, but it's extremely unlikely, unless yeah, it's extremely unlikely. So I'm gonna hang on to them. I'm sure we'll use them eventually for something else. There's no point in even saving the wire, because you can think, well, maybe I can cut a piece out of it and use it for something, but then you don't know whether the piece you're cutting out is the piece that has the fault. So basically, that extension cord is toast. I'll just save the ends, as I said, and we will. Let's see, is that? That's right. Reuse these for something else at some point, but sometimes you don't win. It's just not worth pursuing it any further, so I'll just get another cord. Anyway, thank you for watching, and thank you for subscribing, and you take care of yourselves as always. Bye-bye.